Just ahead on CTV News, we warn you on the dangers the frigid temperatures can bring, and Maryland lawmakers and advocates push for change in Annapolis. Plus,
despite the state having to make some tough budget cuts, 2 Maryland lawmakers are looking to increase the state's minimum wage. I'm Katara Jones. I'll tell you how they want to do that coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more up next on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for January 23rd. I'm Mariah Jalad.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, we are greeted with bitter temperatures this morning, and tonight the freeze continues.
Yesterday, we talked about the dangers of hypothermia, and today we're focusing on another cold weather threat, frostbite. Now, frostbite happens when skin and tissue freeze due to extreme cold. It often affects fingers, toes, the nose, and ears.
Early warning signs include numbness, pale or waxy skin, and a tingling sensation.
An injury that can occur with your hands or your feet or anything kind of, at the tip of your body, your nose, and honestly, even your corneas can sometimes get frostbite, interestingly enough. But what that is that's actually an injury to the tissue itself, where the tissue can freeze. When that does happen, it can cause pretty severe injury. It could lead to amputation as well. It could lead to some blood vessel problems.
And remember, don't underestimate the cold and stay prepared.
Also, stay protected and help others who may be at risk in these frigid conditions.
And warming centers in the county remain open for residents. Currently, there are 20 facilities that are open daily until the extreme cold weather conditions subside and offer a safe, heated space for individuals to stay warm with seating available. Hours for each of the centers vary, and to find one near you, you can visit the county's website. And Governor Moore's new education bill, unveiled Wednesday, aims to slow the growth of per-student funding in Maryland starting in 2026, raising concerns among lawmakers and education advocates. Now, the bill proposes a smaller increase in funding than originally planned, potentially cutting $234 million over the next 8 years. Now, while it focuses on long-term goals like strengthening the teacher pipeline and supporting teacher collaboration, some worry it won't provide enough resources for schools to meet student achievement expectations.
And student safety is a top priority of some legislators in Annapolis this session, after a suspected murderer was found to be enrolled at 2 Maryland high schools while neither knew he was a threat. Delegate Nino Mangione wants to make sure that never happens again. His School Safety and Student Protection Acts would forbid students from attending public school in person if they're suspected of or charged with a violent crime.
Governor has allocated almost $10 billion this year for K through 12. That money is useless if we do not protect the students. First and foremost, they need an environment in which they can learn. And that means a safe environment. So there was no mechanism that said that an individual I have 2 bills today actually, the suspect or charged with a violent crime or a crime of violence, as it says in the statute, specific to a crime of violence, and there's an alternative means of education that this bill provides. So there is concern that, they have rights to get an education. I agree, and we will make sure they are provided that education, but it will not be in the general population of students.
And both of those bills were heard today in the Ways and Means Committee. And elsewhere in Annapolis, advocates for the developmentally disabled are calling cuts to their resources inhumane and harmful. And they met with legislators today to voice that.
The question is, what happens to me and what happens to the others?
$200 million in cuts to the agency that provides resources for people with developmental disabilities. That's what Governor Wes Moore's budget plan proposes.
We knew that the state was having a difficult budget forecast, obviously, and we were concerned going in, but we were, I think it's safe to say, shocked to see the size of these cuts for people with developmental disabilities.
The cuts to state services that more than 20,000 Marylanders rely on were presented as a way to make the program more sustainable, but the consequences will have far-ranging effects.
They're going to impact countless people across the state. We know that for people in certain counties like Montgomery and Prince George's, Charles, Calvert, and Frederick, they are going to see a much bigger cut in their funding. But across the board, people in residential services are going to likely face cuts as well.
The advocacy group People on the Go Maryland is an organization ran for and by those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Its executive director, Matt Rice, says the cuts would directly impact their access to the services that enable their work.
Somebody like myself who relies on direct support professionals to be able to come and do the work of POG in Annapolis, I may not be able to reliably count on being able to pay them.
Today, the Developmental Disabilities Administration presented its fiscal outlook to the Senate Budget and Taxation Committee, hoping they can be better prioritized as the state budget is reviewed.
We really think that what they're referring to as cost containment, which cuts funding for operating services, it is absolutely going to be devastating, and we know that the state's budget challenges are huge, but to balance it on the backs of people with developmental disabilities is just unacceptable.
And no budget cuts have been finalized yet, and they likely won't be until the end of the session in April. And in light of President Donald Trump's executive order to end all DEI programs in the federal government, the Maryland Senate issued a joint resolution that reaffirms the state's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, calling it the foundation of the American dream. It was introduced by Prince George's Senator Joanne Benson and called efforts to attack DEI harmful. The resolution encourages local, state, and federal leaders, schools, and workplaces to adopt and uphold DEI principles. Copies of the resolution will be sent to federal leaders, including the president and vice president. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Delad.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, the county has released its 2025 Green Book.
After the break, we'll tell you how it can be beneficial for your small business. Back in a moment.
What do you do as a parent if you believe your child is being exploited or perhaps the exploitation is happening? Stop all communication with the offending account. Tell someone, a trusted adult, tell law enforcement, but basically get in contact with someone that's a trusted individual and then save all of the evidence.
Sit down with your child, talk to them, have these conversations so that it is a safe environment, so that if an individual does contact them online, they know that they're in safe hands, that it's okay, that they can talk about what has happened. And please, please don't delete any of the evidence. Don't delete your application. Don't delete your pictures.
And then after looking into victim services, looking into mental health for your child, making sure that your child is okay, that there's no long-lasting trauma is also really crucial.
System is crooked, that's why you work it. That's how the people where I'm from feel. All we know is what we know, they done fed us appeal. But they don't know about what go down, homie. Put the gun down, homie. Put them down and get up. Put them down and get up. This is motivated for the people that been fed up. Put them down and get up. Put them down and get up. This is motivated for the people that never let up.
Welcome back. Some Maryland lawmakers are pushing legislation they say would bolster the restaurant economy and would also increase the wages of tipped workers. CTV's Katira Jones is in Annapolis with more.
That's right. It's no secret that here in Maryland, tip workers get paid a low wage. But two Maryland lawmakers are looking to change that by not only increasing tip worker wages, but also the state's minimum wage.
Minimum wage in Maryland is not enough to meet the cost of living. All working people deserve to be able to earn enough when they work.
Delegate Adrian Baafo of Prince George's and Senator Corey McCray of Baltimore City are backing the no tax on tips bills. The measures would do several things. First, it would end the sub-minimum wage for tip workers, which currently stands at $3.63 an hour. Next, it would end the practice of service workers paying state income tax on tips.
Only 20% of people who are actually in the service industry are paying taxes on tips. It means 80% of those folks actually are making enough money through tips to actually be paying their state income on taxes. Eliminating the state tax piece for no tax on tips actually helps businesses in two ways. One, folks aren't going to have to do that. It eliminates the red tape for businesses. Folks aren't actually going to have to do that calculation of making sure that everyone's filing the W-2s, et cetera, through tips. And two, it helps workers keep more money in their pocket at the end of the day.
Another big part of this legislation would put a question on the November 2026 ballot. The constitutional amendment will allow voters to decide if they want to increase the state's minimum wage gradually to $20 an hour by July of 2028. Tip workers will be included in this, ensuring that they get paid the minimum wage with tips on top.
Remember the first year of the Westmore administration, he came to my committee and said, look, if we index this to inflation, that's the proposal that he wanted for minimum wage. If we would have done that, we would have been about $23, $24 an hour. What we're saying is let's phase in $5 more by 2028. Washington State probably will beat us, but my hope is that we pass this in Maryland, get it on the ballot, and make sure we follow right behind them.
The legislation would also include a small business tax credit worth $10,000. Katera Jones, CTV News.
All right, Katera, thanks so much for that report. Meanwhile, a Silver Spring man is in custody for stealing a handgun from a Prince George's gun range. 32-year-old Kofi Aidu was arrested yesterday by Montgomery County Police with the help of Prince George's Police and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Now, police conducted a search warrant at the Glenmont United Methodist Church and found the suspect with a firearm. The man is facing firearm-related charges, including prohibited possession of a firearm.
And the county has released its 2025 Green Book. The Green Book assists county-based businesses in navigating local government by providing an agency-by-agency overview of spending availability. In addition to the PDF version of the book, the county's website has an interactive spend data dashboard. This year's spending goal is $142 million. And advocates for renter protections are urging lawmakers to pass what they call good cause eviction legislation. Just cause evictions would require landlords that want to cancel a lease to inform the tenant why they are taking the action from a specified list outlined in the bill. This is the 8th year the legislation has been introduced in the House. Senator Anthony Muse is one of the bill's sponsors. Developers and property managers say the bill will contribute to an over-regulated housing market. The measure passed in the House last year, but died in a Senate committee.
And Governor Moore announces philanthropic support and applaud a new cross-sector effort to reduce child poverty. Today, the state is taking another step towards the mission to end child poverty by forming the Enough Alliance, a coalition of philanthropic organizations driving the state's groundbreaking Enough Act initiative.
This is going to support community schools all across our state. This is going to support existing programs that are already doing really good work and just simply needed a little more shine and a little more capital to keep on doing really good work. This is going to support the communities who don't need to be saved. They just need us to move the barriers from in front of them because they can save themselves.
The $1 million initiative will seek to help the 1 in 8 Maryland children currently living in poverty. Meanwhile, Governor Moore appoints a new director of the state's cannabis administration who is no stranger to the industry. Tabitha Robinson will succeed former Director Will Tilburg, who left the agency in December. She currently serves as the acting chief equity officer for the New York State Office of Cannabis Management. Robinson will serve in an acting capacity pending confirmation of her appointment by the Maryland Senate. She will take on her new role starting on February 19th.
And tax season is approaching, but did you know that Maryland ranks close to last in tax competitiveness? Only 4 states rank lower than Maryland, with Governor Wes Moore stating, quote, "You can't look at our tax system and say that it works as it should." Experts believe that Maryland's non-competitiveness in this area could drive more residents away from the state than to it, which could put the state in a dangerous fiscal position. Governor Moore's budget proposal attempts to overhaul this tax system. And still to come on CTV News.
If you're still shaping out your New Year fitness plan, stay with us.
Yes, we are back in the studio with Darian, and she's going to show us a HIIT workout that's going to get us right, fit, and focused going into 2025. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Danny. See me after class. Okay, so, Jennifer? Yes? Okay, let me know.
Danny, I just got this notice from your school. We need to talk. This is important. We need to talk.
Danny, wake up! Oh, that would be really good. Danny! Laps.
Danny! She's overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carry naloxone. You could save a life.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. As an actor and a director, I attend a lot of screenings. But there's one that's different. It's important, and it could save your life. A lung cancer screening. You know, I lost my mom to lung cancer when she was just 68 years old. That's Jennifer. And if she'd had a screening, I might have had her for a lot more years. But by the time her disease was detected, it was too late. It had already progressed to an advanced stage. Lung cancer screening is the key to early detection when the disease is most treatable, even curable. All it takes is a low-dose CT scan, which is quick and painless and requires no special preparation. So if you think that you might be at risk for lung cancer, please talk to your doctor about screening. Early detection could save your life. Go-To for lung cancer is your go-to. For more information about screenings, visit goto.org.
It's time for our Metro Minute. Congratulations to Prince George's very own Aaliyah Thompson. The Bishop McNamara High School senior won a $156,000 academic scholarship to Thiel College. Thompson plans to major in communications media, so this probably won't be the last time we see or hear from her. And Aaliyah isn't the only one winning some cash. A Greenbelt man hit his first big lottery win with a $50,000 cash prize. He told lottery officials he plans to use the money to buy his family a new home.
Meanwhile, Patient First is adding a new walk-in clinic in Capitol Heights. This will be the 4th location in Prince George's, and it's set to open on January 30th. And if you haven't heard, the pandas at the National Zoo are making their public debut this Friday. From now until the end of February, the National Harbor is celebrating Bao Li and Qing Bao with panda-inspired treats, activities, and special deals. And the Washington Commanders will play in the NFC Championship this weekend just up I-95 in Philadelphia. And MDOT wants to remind fans if they're going to make the 2-hour trip to first slow down and always drive sober. The tailgate will be waiting for you when you get there. Next, put the phone down. Driving at 55 miles per hour and looking at your phone is the same as driving the length of a football field with your eyes off the road. Also, be kind to other drivers, even if they are rooting for the Eagles. And last, just as the players will be buckling up their helmets before they take the field, buckle your seatbelt before you take to the road.
And we have another consumer alert. Fitbit has agreed to pay a $12.25 million civil penalty for failure to immediately report serious burn hazards with one of its products. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, this iconic smartwatch contained a defect that could create a substantial product hazard and created an unreasonable risk of serious injury or death to consumers. Fitbit received numerous reports from 2018 to 2020 about the watch's overheating while being worn, however, did not report to the commission as required.
Well, Michaela, did you have any fitness goals that you wanted to get done this year?
Yeah, I do. I want to be more consistent when it comes to going to the gym. I started off really great, but now it's kind of like I need to get back in there. So what about you?
A little bit, you know, I like to do stuff at home, kind of keep myself active. I want to start walking more outside when it gets a little bit warmer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good, because now's the perfect time for me or any of our viewers to achieve those goals, because CTV's Bryce Parker is in studio with another Fit and Focus segment.
And you don't need a gym membership either, because these workouts are all at-home friendly.
We're back in studio with Darian from Vive Fit Studios. So I heard today that you're going to put us through something called HIT. What does HIT stand for?
HIT stands for high intensity interval training. So this, you want to make sure that your heart rate is up, you're moving fast, you're not moving too fast to where you can't breathe at all, but you just want to make sure that your heart rate is up the entire time, and just keep your body moving, keep your body warm. So we have a couple exercises to do that. You ready to get started?
Ready to get started. I'm excited.
Okay.
Got these dumbbells with us today.
We got some dumbbells. Yes. So we're going to do a jumping jack and push up at the same time. So a jack press. So we're just going to go up and in, just like that. Jumping jacks. Yeah.
And so your legs are going to move with your arms when you're doing this, right?
Exactly, exactly. Pressing up using those shoulders to press that dumbbell right into the sky. There you go, you got it. Here we go, 3.
It's like you're punching the roof.
2, exactly 1. I love your analogy. Yes, very good. Second one, we're still going to have those dumbbells, but I'm going to do an intermediate advanced version, and you're going to do a beginner version.
Okay.
So I'm going to have my box stepper here. What I'm going to do with my dumbbells in a second is I'm going to tap the stepper here, push over, tap the stepper, push over, tap the stepper.
And so I'm gonna be tapping the ground because I don't have a stepper, and it's good if you're at home and you might not have the equipment. So
yes, tapping the ground, yep, and going over and over. And if you want, you can slow it down too, and just do here. Yes, yes. Let's try with the dumbbells. Grab those dumbbells for me. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and here. Good. Good job.
So what are you trying to keep the dumbbells tucked to your chest or to your side?
You want to keep them where your toe is, right in front of you. So you're just pushing down as you're stepping out. Push down, step out. Good. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Great job. Yes.
All right.
Put my stepper over to the side.
I can already feel my heart rate going right now.
Yes, we're going. We are going. We are going. Yes. So to keep that up from here, grab our dumbbells again.
All right.
So we're going to do a pistol push pull in a squat position. Here we go. We're going to pull up, squeeze that back, bring it back down. Squeeze up, bring it back down. Good. Keep going. 3. Good.
And I know a lot of people like to work on their back muscles. What is this working?
Yes, this is working everything. Your back, your arms, your legs, because you're in that squat position, your glutes, everything. Yep. Engage that core. We have 3, 2, 1. Good job.
Thank you. So Darian, like you said, this is getting your heart pumping, definitely been moving around. What's the last workout that's going to end our HIT circuit?
Yes, so from here, we're going to do squat thrusters, okay? Again, you're going to get in a nice squat stance. Yes. The dumbbells at your shoulders. As you push up, you're going to push those dumbbells off of you. Yes. Go back down. Push up. Push it off of you. Yes. Push it off of you. Good. You want to keep those elbows right in front of you. You don't want to go here with it.
Right.
You want to keep them right in front of you like a cheerleader.
Everything tucked in tight?
Everything is tucked in tight like a cheerleader. Here we go for 3. Keep it up. 2. Go team go. 1.
I think we should keep going.
Here we go. Keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's keep going. I like that.
You should join us at home, and you can find any of these workouts. If you go to Instagram or TikTok, you can follow Darian at Vive Fit Studios. We're going to send it back to the studio, but keep getting fit and keep getting focused going into 2025.
Whew.
All right, Bryce, thanks for showing us how it's done. And if you missed any of the previous Fit and Focus episodes, you can find them on our YouTube channel. Just type in PGCTV online in the search bar. Now, every time I watch those fitness segments, it's always, I get tired just watching that. So.
I'm like, oh, okay. Right. Sweating a little bit even.
Yeah, well, Simon Bugs has our Thursday sports page.
That's right, and he's speaking to some Commanders players.
What's up, everybody? Don't go anywhere because coming up on your Thursday sports page, Commanders players Frankie Louvu, Jaden Daniels, and Terry McLaurin all reflect on the team's season. Be right back.
For the curiosity that compels us to look closer, dig deeper, reach further. For the passion to explore, to see, to know. That drives us to nurture connections, deepen empathy, and expand horizons. For the joy of discovery right now, and all the endless potential of what comes next. This is what we strive for.
Awesome.
Since 1888, the National Geographic Society has championed generations of explorers to ask questions, share stories, and open minds.
Wow.
And today, our mission is more urgent, dynamic, and vital than ever. Because in our hearts, we believe protecting the vibrancy of our world isn't just possible, it's essential. And we believe there's always another wonder for us to go and find. Will you join us? National Geographic Society. Wonder awaits.
All right, sports fans, it's time for your Thursday sports page. Beginning with some NFL news, we are just 3 days away, Commanders fans, from seeing the burgundy and gold in the NFC Championship game for the first time in over 30 years. This season is special not only for us fans, but for the players as well, since this is the first deep playoff run that some of them in linebacker Frankie Louvu, wide receiver Terry McLaurin, and of course rookie QB Jaden Daniels have experienced since they've been in the league. And the trio all spoke yesterday about how special this postseason run has been for them.
Man, it feels special. Like everything, all my emotions, everything is all new. So, this is my first time being in an NFC playoffs championship, and I'm just happy I got JD5 on the other side, man, to make things happen. I'm just trying to do my part, and our defense take some control what we can control, and help us win.
It's a blessing to make it this far in the season. It's countless a lot of, I know teams want to be in this position, so it's a blessing. Can't really take it for granted, but you also just got to be in the moment and, take it one day at a time.
It's been a great run so far, seeing the way that we've come together throughout the course of the season. Fought through some adversity in the middle part of the season when we lost a few, and then to end the season strong like the way we did. That momentum I feel like we've carried into the playoffs, and each week we've gotten better. DQ talks a lot about leveling up, being better each week, and I feel like we've answered that call, and it's going to take our best this week to be able to win in Philly.
Washington will take the field against the Philadelphia Eagles in the big game on Sunday at 3 o'clock. And congratulations to Daniels for being named a finalist for the Associated Press's Offensive Rookie of the Year, as well as head coach Dan Quinn for being named a finalist as well for Coach of the Year. And with the season this team has had, I can't say I'm surprised. Moving on to high school hoops, tons of teams will be taking the court tonight. Wives look to defend home turf against Bladensburg. Northwestern will be on the road going up against Laurel. Fairmont Heights will host the defending state champions Largo High School. And finally, Eleanor Roosevelt will match up against Duval. And don't worry, guys, I'll have highlights for you tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Meantime, the Terps women's basketball team will be in Columbus tonight taking on Ohio State. Tip-off is at 6 o'clock, while the men's team will be matching up against Illinois tonight also at 9 o'clock. And that is your Thursday sports page. Simon Bugs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Well, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear. Tomorrow it's going to be sunny and we'll have a high of 34. Saturday we get a high of 36 and a low of 26. Sunday will be cloudy, but we warm up to a high of 44 to kick off the week. So if you're wanting to get out to watch the game, looks like there will be perfect weather.
Yeah, you won't have to bundle up as much.
Yeah.
And now for our community calendar, this Saturday, Councilmember Wanika Fisher is hosting Wicked Girls Defying Gravity. This day of empowerment will celebrate strength, creativity, and leadership for young girls. The Wicked-themed event will have activities such as poetry, dance, and career mentorship. This free event takes place from 1 to 4 p.m. at Joe's Movement Emporium. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.